we're going to continue with the controllers on client side. That's where we are. There is a file related to that. That's controllers.js. That's located in JavaScript. We come to that first. And let's have a look here. So we have defined a model, and with the controller we can make that data visible in HTML with view. We come to the view later. Now we're going to continue with the controller, and that is located in JavaScript's controllers.js. So let's go to the client side, JavaScript's controllers. This is a little bit prepared. We see here 3 functions, and the first is a book list controller. That's a controller to retrieve all the books that are available. And the second controller is a detail controller, and with the detail controller we can retrieve one book, we can delete a book, and we can create or update a book. And the last one is a simple controller that you may find out how that will work. So let's start with the book list controller. And the book list controller retrieves all books. And well, there's a little help in here. It needs 2 parameters. That's a scope parameter, and that's the book's service parameter. The scope is the variable that is the glue between the controller with the data in it and the view. So how does that look like? It's really easy. Book service, that is the service we previously defined in the services file. You see it here. This is the book service. This is the name we're going to use. And book service that gets some data back from the server. That's books, and we that's this name get, and that is returned in books. So that's how we will find that, and from there we do the gets, and we bind the result of this expression to the books object in scope, and books will be available on the HTML page. So this is pretty easy. Just one line, and I have my data for all the books on the screen. We need a little bit more, of course. You can imagine that I want to retrieve only one book. So what we need for that, it's a little bit more code. Still the book service. So we need a book service here, and we need some other variables. I will discuss this in a minute. The route params. So the scope is contains the variable that links the data to the HTML. The route params contains all the URL parameters. The location is a location object. We come to that later. And of course we need a books service here. So from book service, what are we gonna retrieve? Only one book. And the book I am retrieving is the ID of the book I clicked on. That's passed with the URL parameter, and the name of it is _ID. I bind that to, I create an object. This is the object, and the parameter, the attribute name is _ID, and the value of it is passed with route params. There's a callback function, and that's this one, and this one, this binds the this binds the result of it, and this one is called when the data is retrieved. I can't do just a console log of this one. because of course it's retrieving data via a URL, and on the server that will it will that's in here, so I have to make a request. This takes some time, then retrieving the books from the database takes some time, and after it's passed back, then I can do with a callback function, I can show the results of it. And this is how I will bind it. And Angular is using a callback function as well. We'll see that. So next, if you want to delete a book, how do we delete a book? We have a method for that, that's delete. And that's a function. Let's delete. Delete is the function that is on the page, and if I press a page that it's called delete or tagged as delete, we'll see that, then this function will be called, and this is calling the delete method. And the same here, this is only a URL parameter, so I'm passing this with URL. And here we see the $location, and what this is doing, if after the books are retrieved, the page is refreshed with this path. So I will see the new page after that. Last thing for this controller is that I can do a create and an update. That function is called save in the HTML page, and it has two options. One is creating a book and the second one is updating. How does it define? So we only have one save button, and if there is _id from book within books in scope is defined or undefined, I must say. If it's not defined, then it will it's not undefined, then it will update the book. So this one is for updating and the next one is for save. So if I have an _id in doc, in books, in scope, that's on the HTML page, if it's not undefined, then we will update it, and we see that update is called from books, the book service, and it has two parameters. This one is in the URL, and the second one is the parameter for the body. So this is the form data. And then of course we have a callback function, doesn't do much except for a console.log, nothing more. And this will update the book. And the last one in here is creating a book. So if there is no such a thing as an ID, then we will create a book. We do not have a URL parameter. We call save, that's a create. That's mapped to create on this one, or what is it? Save. So save, and save is mapped to a post request. That's what we see here, and then we will create on the server side the book. And it has a callback function that doesn't do anything at all, just except for displaying the result that's retrieved from the server. And with this, we come to that later, you have to bind scope with a specific item. So this is the controller for the service, this is the controller for the model, and that will display data on the screen. So we have passed this one. Next will be about the routes.